she did kill it, but she was like on 10 at every single moment. Like it was crazy. Like, whew.
Even the more subtle abuse things were like so masterfully done. Like when Precious gave her the food and she was like, "You didn't make collard greens with my pig's feet? How can I eat collard greens without pig's feet?" She's like, and then she just forces her to eat the food, but like still calls her like a fat piece of shit. It's like insanity. Hi, I'm Danielle.
And I'm Dell.
And this is the Black Catch-Up, where we're catching up on iconic Black media we missed out on in our more conservative religious childhood.
Alright, so today we watched Precious.
Based on the novel Push by Sapphire.
Yeah.
Yes. So, as always, IMDb. In New York City's Harlem, circa 1987, an overweight, abused, illiterate teen who is pregnant with her second child is invited to enroll in an alternative school in hopes that her life can head in a new direction.
So, I guess as usual, kind of start off with things we liked about this one.
Yes.
I guess I'll kick it off.
He kick it off.
It was just a very like interesting topic overall. You know, definitely like a heavy subject, but
yes.
I don't know. I thought it definitely was handled a lot, or came off a lot. I don't know, lighter than I thought it would. You know, or and like it was definitely like a lot more beautifully done than I thought it would have been done. So yeah. Overall, I just thought it was like super just interesting and like a very like unique perspective to be seeing in a movie.
Yeah, I too thought the story was incredibly well told, even with the narration and kind of like the journaling tie-in. I thought they did a good job with that. My first note was I really liked the little daydream kind of out-of-body sequences that Precious would go into when she felt like particularly like stressed or put upon or just in such a bad situation. I just thought those were like the nice lighter moments of the film, because this was a heavy one. This was a heavy one. Yeah. But I really liked those little moments of brevity, basically. Yeah. I wish it wasn't abandoned, but I really did like it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it did seem like kind of sparse throughout the film, you know? Because like in the beginning, they seem like heavy on every time she like thinks about her like trauma. She kind of disassociates and goes in that like more like princess kind of mode thing or like superstar mode. Yeah. But they did kind of lose it especially towards the middle. I think they did it like once or twice again at the end, but they definitely did lose it a bit in the middle.
I don't know if that was meant to convey that she felt that she was safer, because that was meant to be like the times when she felt as though she was unloved. She went to this place where she felt like super duper loved and adored. So I don't know if it tapering off meant that she felt she was in a safer place, but I kind of wish it was a little bit more consistent when it showed up, I guess.
Okay.
Oh, it's your turn.
Yeah. I really liked the class, and how they kind of became her like support group.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I just really liked all the girls, and I thought like it was like it just felt very like natural how they became her support group. Like it didn't feel forced. Like I don't think we even like saw her become like super close with any of them, but they all just kind of like, you know, like we're just there for her, you know, and it was just like really beautiful to see kind of that aspect. I especially like the Jamaican girl. I thought she was.
Oh, yeah. I loved the class. Just that, like, that was my next note, that little relationship she had with them. They were a nice support system, especially when they were with her in the hospital after she went into labor, and just, like, hanging out with her. And just, like, they were such a... I just loved all of them together. It was so nice. And it was so great to see her have, like, support after being with her mom, who was, while she was played by Monique, and, like, Monique won an Oscar for this. Like, her mom sucked. Like, oh my God.
Yeah.
But, it was nice seeing her with people who, like, loved her and supported her. The classroom scenes were definitely some of my favorite.
Yeah. Okay, is this me or you?
Oh, it's me then. The last thing I had was the final social worker scene where Monique or Precious's mom comes in and like says that she wants her kid and her grandkid back. That was probably the worst thing I've ever heard in my entire life, that scene, but it was acted so incredibly well. Just like, because you know that Precious's mom is a manipulative woman, so you know she's kind of like, it kind of blurs the lines of what is she faking just to get Precious back into her life versus like what does she actually feel. Plus hearing the story of how all of the abuse started was particularly heartbreaking, and just the entire sequence very well acted. Without a doubt, the worst thing I've ever heard in my life, though.
Yeah. No, like, there were some intense scenes, and, like, I guess shout out to Monique for, like, making them so believable and just, like, acting her ass off. I had a few more of her scenes. Like, I thought, like, every scene with her was just, like, super powerful and just, like, I don't know, I, like, found myself on the edge of my seat. But the other two scenes I had were, the two where she's, like, holding the babies. So, the first scene where the social worker comes to their house and they're pretending that the first child is with them. That scene, like that's a just beautiful scene, and like her performance in that one. And then the second scene was when she comes home with the second baby and gives it to her mom, and I'm just like sitting there on the edge of my seat, like thinking she's gonna like burn the baby with her cigarette. So
did I thought she was gonna.
And then she like tosses it off her lap, and I'm like, oh no. But just like very powerful scenes. Okay, I guess are we ready for negatives now?
Yes.
Okay. You want to kick it off?
Yeah, I'll kick it off. I don't have too many, and I think the ones I do have are kind of nitpicky. But the first one I have was the camera work. Overall, it was very nice, but every once in a while, the camera would do this kind of like hard zoom and it kind of felt like The Office or Abbott Elementary or something like that. It just felt like very mockumentary style when they would do that really hard zoom in. And I was like, this isn't the tone of the movie. I don't like that. But it didn't happen. It happened more than I wanted it to, but it didn't happen like all the time. Like a lot of times they were just like slow shots and like normal shots, I guess. I don't know. But every once in a while they do that hard zoom, and I was like, ooh, what happened there? I don't like that.
Yeah, I agree with that. There were like, this was like a pretty cinematic movie, but I think at times it got a little like, what? You know? The zooms were definitely an example. Like there was one time the teacher was talking, and they just like kept zooming in and out of like her mouth, and I just thought like that was weird. But there definitely were some weird cinematic moments. The one thing I had, it was also like kind of small and not huge, but I thought like it seemed like to move a little, not, I don't know if like slow is the right word, but there was definitely a lot like in this movie. It seemed like we were kind of like entering into a very complex situation here and like slowly kind of unraveling layers of it. And so from that aspect, I understand why it was kind of slow, but I think like the timeline was like very hard to follow, and it seemed like there were like I don't know even what the time from like the start of this movie to the end of it was.
Yeah, I don't.
It seems like there like might have been some large skips in there. Like we don't know how pregnant she is in the beginning. Like it just seemed like a lot. Like so much was happening, and like it I don't know. I couldn't get a grasp of like the timeline of things, which kind of threw things off a little bit for me. But it wasn't like a huge downside or anything.
I will say I did like how they kind of just like dropped us in, because the first thing we see from her is like, oh yeah, you're pregnant. This is your second pregnancy and you're 16. And I was like, what are you making me watch, man? but yeah, in that aspect, I liked how they kind of just were like, we're just getting her at this specific moment in time. So yeah, but I do understand the timeline, especially because we don't know how pregnant she is in the start. You're like, how long has this been going on? I don't know. The next thing,
especially with the times where she was like wasn't with her mom.
Yeah.
Like, it seemed like she would, like, go away for, like, a day and, like, go to school and come back. But, like, her mom would react as if she'd been gone for, like, weeks. It was hard to tell sometimes how long she'd, like, been gone, you know?
Yeah. Part of it was her mom was abusive and just gave really over-the-top reactions for stuff. Yeah. But then it was also, like, I don't know how long you were gone. Especially because there was one point where she was like, yeah, for 2 weeks I've not been in school. And I was like, when was that? I don't know when that was. But, yeah. The next thing that I had was, I wish the fact that she was good at math came up a little bit more. They mentioned it in the beginning, and she comments on the fact that she's good at math, never to her class, which I find interesting. But I really wish that we discovered, like, we got to see more of her being good at math, just because so much was wrong with her situation. I wanted just one other thing to be happy for her like, being good at math.
Yeah, and especially since they like started off making that a point that she was good at math too. I thought we would see more of it. And there was a scene in the class where she was like, I don't remember what she was doing, but she was like doing some like math. She was doing some math.
Oh, it was like towards the end. It was towards the end where they were talking about how they wanted her to work at the place,
that's what it was.
Or it's the social worker place, but that's not what it's called. But they wanted her to work there, and she was like calculating the wages. So I wanted. That's when I was like, oh yeah, she's good at math. Why are we not bringing this up a little bit more?
Yeah. No, I definitely agree with that. The last thing I had, this was like kind of a nitpick, and mostly I only wrote this down because I read the Wikipedia and they put it in there, and it reminded me of this. But that like doctor guy, the nurse guy. Okay, now the cat's hitting the camera. But the nurse guy, who like apparently like had a like I don't know who the nurse guy was, but that like weird little like crush scene. Like I don't know what happened there.
I don't.
There was like the scene in the hospital where he like kissed her on the forehead. And then there seemed to be another scene where he was like hitting on the teacher or something.
Yeah.
And then it just kind of like abruptly ended. I don't think we saw him again.
He didn't hit on the teacher. He was going to, but then like Precious was like, "You're not her type," because the teacher's a lesbian. And then he like, she pawns him off to the administrative assistant or something like that.
Okay, yeah, that is what happened. Okay, that's what I saw then. Okay, I didn't understand it, but that is exactly what happened. Yes.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. Yeah. So I get what you mean, because that kind of. I think they kind of hinted it in her little fantasies, because she always mentioned she wanted to be with some light-skinned guy in her fantasies. Yeah. And I think after time it morphed into that particular nurse. But again, they kind of abandoned the fantasy sequences. So I would have liked to see more of them, so maybe we can see that crush kind of like... Because they said she had a crush on him, but it didn't read as a crush to me.
It didn't. Yeah, like... I did at all, you know?
No. Like, you could tell she's infatuated with him, especially because he's, like, a person being nice to her. But it didn't read as a crush, to me at least.
Yeah.
The last thing I have is the ultimate nitpick. And actually doesn't need to happen, but I kind of wish at the end we got a freeze frame of where are they now? Because when she walked out of the office, it was an empowering thing for her to officially be like, fuck you, Mom. Like, you're not getting my kid. Like, I'm not going back to this situation of abuse. But she's a 16-year-old walking out with her 2 children. And I'm like, I can't see any world where this is good right now.
Yeah.
I was like, and it's 1987. Like, ma'am, I need someone to freeze the frame and be like, Precious went on to win, like, an Academy Award. Or, like, Precious went on and, like, wrote novels that became a best-selling author because she learned to read and write, and her kids are doing great. I was like, please. Like, I know it is happy that she left her abuser. That's always good. And it seemed as though her mom's not going to get her back because the social worker's like, fuck this girl. But I really needed to know for sure that Precious was going to be happy at the end. Because a 16-year-old homeless woman walking out with 2 kids did not read that for me.
Yeah. I definitely get that. This one definitely ended, and I definitely like sat there mouth open, just kind of staring at the screen, watching the credits go by kind of thing. Yeah, this movie just ends.
And I was like, I guess this is happy, but I was like, I need to know for sure she makes it. Like, I need to know she's okay.
This was very much like, the ending's very much like a small victory and like the like complete mess that like of a battle that this whole thing is, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah.
She won the battle, but there's still a war, man. Like,
and a very, very large war going on.
Yeah.
Very large war. Okay, are we ready for ratings?
Yes, we are.
Okay. I guess I'll go first.
Yeah, go first.
I gave this one 4 stars.
Ooh.
Yeah, just like I thought it was a really good drama movie. Like, again, very dramatic, very like beautifully told. The acting was very good in this one, and I found myself just like sitting on the edge of my seat the whole time. I will say it did almost border on that like point where I tend to flip on like uncomfort. You know, like I think this was like right at that threshold of uncomfort for me. I think like definitely like as the film went on, like that like end scene is definitely like, okay, that uncomfortable, you know, but like I like thoroughly like enjoyed this one. Or I was like, this was like a surprise enjoyment for me. So I give this one 4 stars.
I also gave this a 4 out of 5. It was just a wonderfully acted and like beautifully told story. They told it with such grace and empathy for the character. They didn't really make it seem as though Precious was the one to blame. They definitely put the blame on the person who like perpetrated all of the abuse. Everyone acted their butt off. I like the little slight moments of joy, however brief they are, with the class and the teacher, and just the overall optimism of Precious's life after she runs away with her baby. But like as I said before, the camera work was a little finicky for me, and they're just the little tweaky things. And I do want Precious to be happy at the end, and I want to know for sure. Like, there's still doubts in my mind that she is doing okay right now. And I want that to be, I want my fears to be eased, basically. But overall, I really did enjoy this, and I thought it was really well told.
All right. Final question. Do you wish you saw this one sooner?
I go first. So, I have a weird history with this movie, where for some reason I thought I read the book, but after seeing the movie, I'm like, no, I didn't read this book. But I've read the Wikipedia on this so intensely, the Wikipedia on this and the book so intensely, like years ago, because on RuPaul's Drag Race Season 3, the drag queen Stacey Lane Matthews played Monique as Precious for the Snatch Game. So I was like, what is this? And I just went on a rabbit hole of like reading about this and was like, no. I don't want to hear this very terrible, very sad story right now. So I didn't. So I think I'm in a better place to have seen this story now. So I'm fine with when I've seen this. Long-winded way to say no, but
yeah. I went the other way. I said yes. I do wish I saw this one earlier. I think this was like kind of similar to you. One of those movies where like you see the description, you're kind of like, like I don't know if I can.
Yeah.
I don't know if I want to like actually see this. But honestly, like it was a very beautiful film, and like I feel like I was like almost like depriving myself of like just like a good film. So
yeah.
Yeah, I definitely wish I would have seen this one earlier. Yeah, no, it really wasn't.
I think that's the difference. It wasn't graphic. When I was reading the description of the book, it like talks about a lot of the abuse she endured more, and I was like, oh, no, thank you.
Yeah.
And so that's part of what gave me pause, but I still am okay with it.
I can definitely see that. Okay. But, yeah, that was Precious.
Based on the novel Push by Sapphire.
Yeah. YouTube housekeeping, like, comment, subscribe.
Ring the bell for notifications. If you have any movie suggestions for us, you can leave them in the comments down below. We do movies on Tuesdays and Fridays. All of our socials will be linked in the description box down below, and we'll see you next time to catch up. Bye! Yeah, it was nice seeing Monique again. We haven't seen her since The Parkers?
Yeah. I don't think we've seen a lot of her.
No. And The Parkers was a spinoff of which TV show? Crap. Was it Brandy's show?
I don't know.
Crap. I don't remember any of this. Let me see. Oh, the TV thing I have isn't that long. So it's Moesha. I think it was a spinoff of Moesha.
Oh, yeah. That sounds more correct.
Yeah. But Moesha stars Brandy. That's why I said the Brandy show.
Okay, yeah.
I just couldn't remember the name of her show.